Okay, I'm here with Kathy, downtown Sarasota, looking for some marriage advice from my daughter who's getting married in for a couple of weeks. So I'm going outside, talking to people on the street, and just hoping that maybe we can give them some good tidbits. And I have just a couple of questions for you, if you don't mind.
Gotcha.
All right? Okay, what do you think are the most important things you need to know to have a successful marriage?
I think you need to know what that person needs to make them happy and to help that. I think you also need to have a good relationship together, but also have a good relationship separately. Bring outside interest and people
good.
into your life.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, one more question, all right? What does your husband or wife, your husband, all right, do that makes you happy the most?
I don't know. He just tries to do things for me that
Right.
are special, makes me feel special
Right.
and
Right.
cared for.
Right. Okay, great. All right, thanks very much for your time.
You're welcome.
Hi, Bob. Just like we were talking about earlier, we're looking for some advice from my daughter as she enters the group of married folks coming up in a couple of weeks. And I was wondering if I could ask you a couple of questions related to marriage, if you don't mind.
Sure.
The first one is, what do you think are the most important things that you need to know to have a successful marriage? What would you think?
Well, in our case, and it's just our case, the most important thing has been just being willing to accept each other's ideas, willing to compromise as we move through. I know Brenda, my wife, has had a hard time sometimes being willing to accept some of the things I think, but we tend to work through all of those kinds of things. And we have 2 children, both grown now, of course. But after 48 years of marriage, I found out that if I just allowed myself to be trained by the children and by my wife as to what they want, try to give them that, and we're all happy.
That's really great. Let me ask you just one more question. What does your wife do that makes you happy the most, would you say?
Well, just being there. She's
Okay.
Always there to support me
Right.
in anything I try to do.
All right.
I try to support her in things that she is interested
Right.
in, and that's about it,
All right.
really, just
Okay.
supporting each other.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your time.
You're very welcome.
Okay, we're here with Hickey, and we're looking for some wedding advice for my daughter for her wedding that's coming up in a couple of weeks. And I have a couple of questions here, if you don't mind. I would like to ask you about marriage and how you should prepare and how a wedding, marriage should last. The first question is, what do you think are the most important things you need to know to have a successful marriage?
Oh, first of all, you should not be together all the time. You should have some space for yourself,
Okay,
and then it will be successful.
okay, great.
Yeah.
One more question. What does your husband do that makes you the most happy?
Oh, well, a lot of things. First of all, he's a very nice guy. And second, we are 36 years together. Very
nice.
successful.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
Right.
So, if I can be honest with you, well, first of all, he has to be kind. He has to be patient, especially with the needs of women.
Yes.
You know, and some shopping would be good, if I can say. And well, patience is on the first place.
Okay, well, thank you very much for your time and enjoy your vacation here.
We wish you more years than we have together.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, I'm here with Heather on the street asking some questions about what is some good advice for my daughter getting married here in a couple of weeks. And how are you, Heather?
I'm good. Good.
Great. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, and here's number one.
All right.
What do you think are the most important things you need to know to have a successful marriage?
Compromise, I would say, is number one, and two, making time for each other, doing lots of things together, and if it means getting babysitters or taking those staycations, but just spending time on your marriage.
Okay, great. I got one more question to ask.
Uh-huh.
What does your husband do that makes you the most happy?
We work together, so I like when he appreciates the hard work that I do both at home and at the office.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Best of luck.
Thanks. Okay, I'm here with Sarah. Sarah, hello. How are you today?
I'm great, thank you.
And how long have you been married?
I've been married almost 17 years now.
17 years is a long time. Then you've got a lot of knowledge, I would say. Well, let me ask you the first question.
Okay.
What do you think are the most important things you need to know to have a successful marriage?
I would say you need to appreciate each other, which is easy at the beginning and harder as the days go by. And you need to always put each other first.
Oh, thank you. One more question. What does your husband do that makes you the most happy?
Volunteers to help around the house.
Oh, great. That's a great answer. Thank you very much for your time.
All right, you're welcome.
Thanks again.
Sure, thank you.
Awesome.
It was fun.
Okay, I'm here with Moray asking some more questions about what kind of wedding advice she would give to my daughter and her husband as they get ready to get married. Hello, how are you today, Moray?
Fine.
Nice
Nice to meet you.
I'm going to ask you a question now if you're ready. All right, here we go.
I'm ready.
All right, what do you think are the most important things you need to know to have a successful marriage?
Well, don't be controlling. Compromise. I mean, that is the biggest thing to me, compromise. I've been married 31 years, and if you don't compromise and you're controlling the other person, it's not going to work.
Right.
Because they'll start resenting you. So you have to think of them. It's really 100% on each part, not 50-50.
Right. Okay, well, thank you for that. One more question. What does your husband do that makes you the most happy?
Well, my husband's great about working around the house, and he's always vacuuming and things like that.
Great.
But the most important thing to me is affection when it's not just in bed. Now, I don't know if you can put this on your reception
all right,
thing,
okay.
but affection, giving you hugs, telling how much they love you, because I don't think my husband does enough of that, though I know he loves me to death. But I think that's the most important thing.
Great, well, thank you.
Affection and attention.
Right. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Welcome, and good luck to your daughter.
Thank you so much.
Okay, bye.
Bye. I'm here with Sue asking more questions about what are the most important things about getting married that you need to know. So I'm going to go ahead and ask a couple of questions to Sue and see what we come up with. So the first question, Sue,
Okay.
is what do you think are the most important things that you need to know to have a successful marriage?
Well, I think that if you put God in your life, and God is the first thing in your life, that is the number one important thing. To be in agreement with your faith. And it doesn't always have to be a Christian faith, to just be in agreement with putting God first.
Understand. Okay, thank you. The second question I have is, what does your husband do that makes you happy the most?
Oh dear.
Or I have another question if you want to.
Yeah, let's skip that one.
Okay, next question. What was the hardest thing to get used to when you got married?
Okay, was him just being so slow and piddling around and not. He's 7 years older than I am, so he's a little different speed. So yeah, so trying to just monitor our steps together. So.
Right, I understand. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
I'm here with Elizabeth and Hiram asking some more questions and trying to get some more advice from my daughter on the occasion of her marriage in a couple of weeks. So I'm going to ask a couple of questions and, oops, sorry about that, I stepped on your foot. So the first question is, what do you think are the most important things you need to know to have a successful marriage?
Before you get married, you got to really get to know each other. I mean, all of it.
I think develop respect for each other. Yeah, respect and admiration for each other.
All right.
Like the things that each other does.
Right, very good.
Yeah.
Okay. The second question I have is, what was the hardest thing to get used to when you got married?
Well, everyone will have disagreements, and the hardest thing is trying to understand a perspective that you're not used to looking at.
Right.
You got to look at it.
Right. Okay. Hiram?
I found is keeping aware that I've got a partner and I'm not wandering around out there by myself, that I've got to think about the partner.
Okay. Well, did you have anything else?
No, I totally agree.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time.
God bless your daughters
Thank
and
you so much.
son-in-law.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Thanks, Elizabeth. You guys have a great vacation. Here, I'll shake that one. Take care.
Nowadays, they'll need us a lot.
Hi, I'm with Rick and Dorothy here in St. Armand Circle and looking for more marriage advice. And I'm going to ask them a couple of questions. They've gracefully given me a little bit of their time. So the first question is, what do you think are the most important things that you need to know to have a successful marriage?
I think, personally, I believe that's just to keep things fun and do whatever you can to be happy.
All right.
And also, too, communication. Communication with
Yeah,
each other
communication, that's a
is
good
the
one.
most important thing to have.
Great. Thank you. Second question, to be the last one. What was the hardest thing to get used to when you got married?
I guess not having my own bathroom. No, I don't.
Okay. How about
Well-
you, Dorothy?
I think my thing is just being like keeping the house clean. Guys
Yeah.
like to just keep things everywhere, but I just always like to have a neat house at all times.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, we've only been married a week today, so
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it. Thanks very much.
Okay. Congratulations. on
Thanks
the
very
wedding.
much.
Thank you.
Thanks. You guys have a great time.
Thank you. You too.
I'm here with Scott at St. Armand Circle on my journey here to find wedding advice for my daughter's wedding, which is in a couple of weeks. And I'm going to ask him a couple of questions. He's been married for 10 years. He's got his beautiful 2 daughters here with him. There's one here and one hiding behind. So I'm going to ask him a couple of questions. Here we go. How you doing, Scott?
I'm very well.
Okay, so what do you think are the most important things you need to know to have a successful marriage?
Well, I definitely think God is number one in that, and you have to trust in Him and everything He does. And also, you have to be willing to compromise. I think compromise is a big part of marriage, and also communication. If you can't communicate and you can't compromise on things, it gets difficult at times because you are 2 different people with 2 different sets of views, and sometimes you don't agree with the other one. So you definitely have to compromise.
Thank you. Okay, the second question I've got is, what was the hardest thing to get used to when you got married?
I think kind of sharing your space with somebody else. My wife and I were together for about 2 years before we got married, so we lived together for about a year. So I got to see her quirks and her pet peeves and stuff like that. And I think vice versa. I think you really need to get to know somebody in that fact, and it's really difficult to share your space and kind of get to know their quirks and what they like and dislike.
Okay, great. Well, thank you very much for your time.
No problem. Thank you.
Thanks, man. That was
All
awesome.
right.
That was awesome.
No problem.
All right, I'm here with Pat, asking more questions about getting more wedding advice or marriage advice for my daughter, Jessica. And Pat, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, and here we go.
Okay.
The first question is, what do you think are the most important things you need to know to have a successful marriage?
I think you have to understand compromise. I think you have to be lucky enough to marry your best friend. And I guess those are the 2 most important things.
Okay, well, thank you. I got one more question.
Okay.
What was the hardest thing to get used to when you got married?
I guess I'm I'm a little bit of a neatnik, and my husband is not. So if that's the worst thing and the hardest thing that I had to get used to, I guess I consider myself very lucky. Can I just add one thing?
Yes, ma'am.
As the new father-in-law to be? Only give advice when asked.
That's awesome. Thank you very much for your time. I'm here with Bob and Diane collecting more marriage advice for my daughter Jessica, who's getting married here in a couple of weeks. And I've got a couple of questions to ask them. And so here we go. All right, Bob, I'll start with you, Bob.
Very good.
So what do you think are the most important things you need to know to have a successful marriage?
Marry your best friend.
Okay. All right, same question for you, Diane.
I would say the same. And try not to say anything that you can never recover from, to the other person.
Okay. All right, great. One more question. What was the hardest thing to get used to when you got married?
Go ahead.
I think the first year is very difficult because in our era it was, because you didn't know each other as well as you do now. Of course, we've been married for 55 years. Wow. So I think the hardest thing was just the little things, like squeezing the toothpaste from the wrong end and, just and leaving it there. And just little nitpicky things that you should probably ignore, So.
Right. Okay, well, thank you. Thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Be thoughtful.
Is it your daughter? Or
Yes, it's my daughter. Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah, this is
What
my
a lovely
my
thing to
oldest
do.
my oldest daughter, and my other daughter is married already. She elected to get married in a courthouse, so she didn't have a big wedding, right? So we saved money for each of them to get married, right? So the youngest one took what we call the cash option, right? Instead of having the big wedding, she took off to Texas and put a down payment on a house with her husband. Sure. This daughter, Jessica, has decided to have the
wants
Mardi
the
Gras
whole
wedding,
thing.
right?
Okay.
And so we're doing that over in Orlando in the Lake Mary area.
Okay,
out there.
yeah, we were just there with 14 of us from the family.
Oh, wow.
Uh-huh. So,
We're both from Ohio, and we met in Colorado in college.
Oh, neat.
so
Neat.
anyhow, well, good luck to them.
All right. Well,
I think just being your best friend
Yeah.
has to
yeah.
cover it.
Thank you. That's great advice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you guys have a good vacation.
Well, you
All right.
have a
Thank
wonderful
you. Thanks
time.
again for. Okay, I'm here with Harriet and Jane in St. Armand Circle, still in pursuit of the wedding advice for my daughter, who's getting married in a couple of weeks. First, I'm going to ask a question to Harriet, then Jane, and so here we go. And you guys have both been married quite a long time, so how many years has it been?
Jessica, just want to tell you that between the two of us, we have over 100 years of marriage, each to the same person.
That's unbelievable. Okay, the first question is, what do you think are the most important things you need to know to have a successful marriage?
Well, I guess tolerance. I think that you really need to overlook and be able to laugh together at some of the things that happen, that instead of letting it bother you and eat away, if you can talk about it, communicate and laugh together, that would be the best advice that I would have.
Okay. Harriet?
I think I agree with what Jane's saying. I think you need a sense of humor, the ability to communicate and not let things fester and stew. Just get them out and talk about how each other might have said the same thing, but in a way that is easier to hear.
Okay, the second question. What was the hardest thing to get used to when you got married?
Well, for me personally, my husband was in the retail business, and it was 6 days and 2 nights, and he was hardly ever there. So early on, it was a little lonely, and then I just got into the rhythm of, doing things for myself and taking care of children.
Well, for me, this is a hard question because I didn't have any problems at the beginning. The problems came later when I guess I was young and naive, and I thought he was perfect. And it took many years for me to open my eyes and see that he wasn't as perfect as I thought he was. And by then, we had so much love to share that it really didn't matter.
That's very good. Thank you very much for your time and appreciate it. Thank you.
Hey, good luck. Good luck,
Thank
Jessica.
You. Thank you so much. I'm here with Mirta and Isaac, asking some more questions, getting some more wedding advice for my daughter who's getting married in a couple of weeks. And so I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. I'll talk slowly because I know your English is a little bit. But anyway, the first question is, what do you think are the most important things you need to have a successful, happy marriage?
A patient, very patient.
Love. Love.
Love, yes.
Believe that it's very important to be with him all the time.
Yes.
All the time.
Okay.
And for many, many years.
Okay.
We have 50 years of marriage.
50 years of marriage?
Yes.
Wow, that's unbelievable. Let me ask you one more question. What was the hardest thing to get used to when you first got married? What was the hardest thing?
The hardest
Más difícil. Más
Uh,
difficult.
the most
Yes.
difficult is to understand him, to understand all their necessities.
I see.
Okay.
Okay. All right. And what? Same question.
Is to see by the other eyes.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Happy for your daughter.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it very
Happy
much.
day.
Thank you
Happy
very
day.
much. I'm here with Julie in St. Armand Circle, still looking for advice for my daughter's wedding. What are the best things, best advice around that can give them a long and happy marriage? Like I said, I'm here with Julie. I'm going to ask her a couple of questions. She's been gracious enough to allow us a few minutes of her time. And so the first question, Julie, is what do you think are the most important things you need to know to have a successful marriage?
Well, first of all, I've been married 28 years, and so I've had a lot of experience with this. The most important thing to know is, number one, and I'm sure you've heard this, don't go to bed mad. Make up, go to sleep, and let it go. Don't carry a grudge.
Okay, great. Second question is what does your husband do that makes you the most happy?
So every single morning, he brings me my coffee to bed. So when I wake up, I've got the coffee ready to go and starts my day off perfectly.
Great. Well, thank you very much for your time.
Anytime.
Appreciate it very much.
You bet.
Thanks.
Congratulations.
Oh, thanks.
That's so cool. She's going.
I'm hoping she's going to like it. I'm here with Charlene and Sylvia in St. Armand Circle, still on the quest for marriage advice for my daughter Jessica, whose wedding is in a couple of weeks. And I'm going to ask these ladies a couple of questions. They've been gracious enough to stop for a couple of minutes, and so here we go with the first question. What do you think are the most important things you need to know to have a successful marriage?
I think that open communication. If communication breaks down, that's not a good thing. I think the other thing you need to do is have things in common. Even if you don't have things in common right now, or you think you do and you grow apart, then find something else that you can both do together. Maybe every day. Something simple like playing backgammon, playing cards, something that will bring you together every day.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
I think you have to have tolerance.
Tolerance, yes.
That's what you have to have, tolerance and understanding.
Okay, thank you. The second question. All right, what does your husband do that makes you the most happy?
I think there's a good book out that tells you about law of attraction. So after being married 37 years, I found out the way that my husband communicates with me and how he likes to have my love shown. So for me, my husband it's words. You know, you've done a good job. I appreciate. I respect you. So it's the words, not the actions, but the words and then the actions follow. So that's what I find important.
Thank you very much.
What's the question again?
The question is, what was the hardest thing to get used to when you got married?
For me, it was to cook. I didn't know how to cook at all, and I had to learn.
That's a great answer.
I know.
But thank you guys very much for your time.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay,
You guys
bye.
take care.
And good luck on the wedding.
Oh, thank you so much.
Okay.
So I'm here with Ulf in the St. Armand Circle and still in the quest for wedding advice for my daughter who's getting married in a couple of weeks. And I'm here with Ulf and going to ask him a couple of questions. He's been gracious enough to take the time to sit down with me and ask a couple of questions. How are you doing, Ulf?
I'm good, and congratulations.
Thank you very much. The first question I've got is, what do you think are the most important things you need to know to have a successful marriage?
I think it had to click right away, like it did in our case. You know, it was love at first sight, and then, of course, you test the other part, and stay together, be together and do stuff together. And if it works, then it's likely it will work a little bit longer.
Okay, great. My second question is, what does your wife do that makes you the most happy?
Yeah, just the way she is. I just love her.
That's good. Well, I appreciate that answer.
Sure.
Thank you very much for your time.
Okay.
I'm here with Karen and Greg in St. Armand Circle, looking for on a journey to get advice for my daughter's wedding, marriage advice, and they've graciously stopped for a couple of minutes to ask a couple of questions. So here comes the first question. All right.
Fire away.
All right. What do you think are the most important things you need to know to have a successful marriage?
Was that the first question?
Yes.
That's the first question.
Oh.
Do you want me to start with the second question?
Well, just say that again now.
Okay. All right. What do you think are the most important things you need to know to have a successful marriage?
Most important things. A list of weapons, duct tape, baseball bat maybe. Next question.
Remember, if she ain't happy long enough, you'll be happy with half your stuff.
I don't get it.
All right.
Okay.
Next question. Next question. What does your husband do that makes you the most happy?
Well, I'm going to get serious. He brings me my coffee every morning.
Okay, great. How about you?
Mm-hmm.
I like to do the dishes with her, clean the house with her, and then once a week I mop up the floor with her.
All right. And the last one was, what was the hardest thing to get used to when you first got married?
His mother.
My mother.
Thank you very much for your time. Thanks very much.
Good luck.
Thank you. I'm here in St. Armand Circle with Jackie, who is graciously allowing us to ask her a couple of questions about getting married. She's getting married soon, but has a lot of experience so far. We're going to ask her a couple of questions, and here we go. All right, Jackie, so what do you think are the most important things that you need to know to have a successful marriage?
I think it would be to make sacrifices and compromises with your partner and sometimes put their needs before yours if it's best.
Okay, great answer. The next question is, what does your husband-to-be do that makes you the most happy?
He shows me that he cares by doing little things and helps us with our daughter, and goes to work every day diligently and has never asked for anything in return,
Mm-hmm. Very supportive. Right. Awesome. Okay, and the last question. What was the hardest thing to get used to when you guys got together?
I would have to say that I didn't have my own privacy as much as I would have liked.
Okay. All right, great. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
All right. Hi, I'm here with Kent and Linda in St. Armand Circle, still searching for some advice for my daughter for her wedding and some marriage advice in general. I'm with Kent and Linda, and here comes the first question for Kent. Kent, what do you think are the most important things you need to know to have a successful marriage?
Well, you need to know how to communicate, and I mean communicate sincerely, so that you're willing to open up to your spouse about anything, so that she can help you. And if she feels the same way, then it's an honest, sincere relationship. So communication is very important. And along with that, the ability to discuss finances. No matter what financial situation you come up to, you need to be able to openly and honestly talk about it, and to do it realistically based on your own ability to produce income. So those are two things that, to me, would be the most important.
Thank you, sir.
I agree with his communication. I think that's very, very important. And probably the second one would be trust. You have to be able to trust your mate completely.
Thank you. The second question. What does your wife do that makes you the most happy?
She supports me in all kinds of ways, but once in a while she'll really surprise me, and she will say, you know what, I wouldn't worry too much about that. I think it's going to turn out okay. And just by her saying something as simple as that, it just makes my days brighter, and I love her because of that.
Great.
I think one of the best things about my husband is that he always thinks that I ought to have whatever I want. Even if I think it's too much, he thinks if I really, really want it, I should have it, and that's a very generous attitude.
Well, thank you very much for your time. Did you anything else that you wanted to say before we end up?
Well, I just would like to say that after 46 years of marriage, each day is another adventure, and we get through it together, and we're very happy and glad that we got married, and glad that the adventure continues. So there's no plateau that where you get to and you say, you know, this is really it, because it isn't it. It's forever, and it goes on every day. So it's a great thing. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for your time. Thank you, sir.
Yep,
you're Appreciate welcome. It very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I am back in Armand Circle with Enid, who has agreed to graciously give us a few minutes of her time to answer some questions for the video that I'm going to show at my daughter's wedding. So the first question is, what do you think are the most successful things you need to know to have a successful marriage?
Marry your best friend.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. One more question. What does your husband do that makes you the most happy?
He thanks God for me every morning.
Oh, very good. Thank you. All right. That'll do it. Thank you so much for your time. All right. I'm in St. Armand Circle with Pat, who has graciously stopped and allowing us to ask her a question on marriage advice for my young daughter who's getting married in a couple of weeks. Hello, Pat. How are you?
Hi, how are you, Jeff? Glad to meet you.
You too. I'm doing fine. Okay, the first question I'm going to ask you, here we go, is what do you think are the most important things you need to know to have a successful marriage?
One of the first things is to actually have a sense of humor and not to take yourself so seriously. Never go to bed angry. Settle your differences, and sometimes there's you give 100% and your husband or wife gives nothing, and other times it's 50-50 and vice versa. But sense of humor is really, really important.
Right. Thank you. Next question is, what does your husband do that makes you the most happy?
The most happy when he takes me to dinner and treats me like the lady that I deserve to be, even after 50 years.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Well, congratulations on 50 years, and thanks for answering the questions.
You're very welcome. Thank you, Jeff, and congratulations, Jessica and Jeff. Have lots of happy years together. Enjoy your time together. Life brings lots of unexpected things, but go with the flow, and you'll find you'll be happy for a long, long time.
Thanks, Pat.
You're welcome, Jeff.
I'm here in St. Armand Circle with Melissa, and she has so graciously accepted our invitation to stand here and talk a little bit about, give us some marriage advice today. So I'm going to ask her a couple of questions, and we'll see how we do. All right? All right. The first question is, what do you think are the most important things you need to know to have a successful marriage?
I think trust is number one. And understanding.
Okay, great. Second question. All right. What does your husband do that makes you the most happy?
I would say date night.
Date night? Date night? Oh, cool.
We have a child,
Right.
so little one. Making time for us is important.
Right. Okay, great. Well, thank you so much for taking the time.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
I'm here with Tilleria at St. Armand Circle, looking for more marriage advice for my daughter, Jessica, who's getting married in a couple of weeks. Hello, Tilleria. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fine. I've got a couple of questions I'm going to ask you, so here we go. What do you think are the most important things you need to know to have a successful marriage?
Well, I've been married for 20 years, and I can tell you that respect is the number one. I think if each one respects each other and understands the needs of each other, because conflicts will come, obstacles. The love needs to be bigger than anything. You need to love and you need to respect. So those things, they walk together, and anything after that is just a bonus. I think.
Thank you for that answer. My next question is, what does your husband do that makes you the most happy?
He understands me because he knows I have the final answer. No, I'm kidding. He understands me. He understands my needs. He makes sure I'm healthy, happy, and he keeps going. I mean, it has been working like that for 20 years.
Right. Perfect. Okay, just one more question is, what was the hardest thing to get used to when you first got married?
Ooh, I would say that the hardest thing is to get used and accept each one's habits. Because when you think, if you're marrying someone thinking that he's gonna change, when I get married, he's gonna change, I hope he changes for the better. But you need to know the person you're getting married to, because the hardest thing is to get used and accept the differences, and then you live well. That's it.
Okay, well, thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome. Have a good day. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
I wish her the best.
Thank you
and the group too.
All right, thank you.
you.
I'm here at St. Armand Circle with Patrick. He's going to help me out a little bit today with some marriage advice for my daughter Jessica, who's getting married in a couple of weeks. How you doing, Patrick?
I'm good, thank you.
All right, I'm going to throw this first question at you. All right, what do you think are the most important things you need to know to have a successful marriage?
The most important pieces to know about having a successful marriage is that communication is a key to marriage. And it is very important for the two of you to have constant communication and talk things out. I think that's number one.
Right. Okay, great. Well, thank you very much for your time.
All right, thank you. Thanks, man. Nice to meet you.
I'm here with Randy at St. Armand Circle. Folks are just walking about, and they've been gracious enough to give us a few minutes of their time to answer some questions about my daughter's wedding that's coming up, and offer some real good old-fashioned wedding advice. So, Randy, I'm going to ask you one question. How are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing fine. The first one is, what do you think are the most important things you need to know to have a successful marriage?
Honesty is a big thing. Keep it honest. Keep it fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
The next question I've got is, what does your wife do that makes you the most happy?
She makes me laugh a lot. And once again, it goes back to being fun, but laughing is great for everybody.
All right. Great. Anything you'd like to say?
Being a great listener is awesome on both ends.
All right. Great. Well, thank you both very much for your time. Enjoy your holiday down here.
Thanks.
All right. Bye. I'm here at St. Armand Circle with Adam, and we're cruising around asking for wedding advice, and he was standing out here, standing pretty tall and handsome, so we thought we'd ask him one of the questions we're asking some of the folks around. So, Adam, what do you think are the most important things that you would need to have in a successful marriage?
Well, being as though I'm not married, what I've noticed with a lot of the couples that come around St. Armand Circle is that after a few years of being married, the husband does and needs to learn how to say, yes, dear, and continue. Yes, dear, and continue. Just agree, continue, and you'll not ever end up in the doghouse.
Thank you very much.
You're most
Appreciate
welcome. God bless you in the new year. Enjoy your day. And happy marriage to you.
I'm here with Claudia and down at St. Armand Circle, looking for more information about what it takes to have a successful marriage for my daughter. And I just wanted to ask you one question, if you don't mind. Of course. And how are you today?
I'm okay. What about you?
I'm doing great. Okay, so here's the question.
Yeah.
What do you think are the most important things that you need for a successful marriage?
Well, you need to be sure that you choose the right person, of course. Then you need to have patience. You need to understand the other person's feelings, and you have to understand that she likes something different than you, and you like something different than her, and so that's okay.
Okay. All right. Well, that's a great answer.
Yeah.
Here's another question for you. What does your wife do that makes you the most happy?
Well, she tries to help what I like, and she tries to help. We almost share many of things in common, not all of them. So
Yes.
that's a thing that makes you happy.
Right. Okay, great. Well, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Bye.
Have a good visit.
Good. Thank you.
Okay, I'm with Janet in St. Armand Circle, who has so gracefully allowed us to take a few moments of her time to help my daughter into her new marriage by giving her some advice on what's the best way to get along when you're married. But anyway, let me ask a question of you, Janet. This is the first question. What do you think are the most important things you need to know to have a successful marriage?
I think you have to be really good friends with your spouse, and you have to be able to talk. And you should enjoy being together and doing things together and really communicate. That's
a great answer. The second question I have for you is, what was the hardest thing to get used to, if you remember, when you first got married?
Having him around all the time. No, I mean it was great in the beginning and everything, but if you've been on your own for a while, then suddenly you are together 24/7 with somebody, then that's something you have to get used to.
Right. Okay, well, thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.
Right.
I hope she has a wonderful marriage.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. She'll appreciate it. Thanks. Hi, I'm at St. Armand Circle with Brad and Tara, right, who are helping me out with the video that I'm making for my daughter for her wedding in a couple of weeks. We're asking what kind of advice they could give us for my daughter and her new husband to help them have a successful or happy marriage. So I've got the first question I'll ask of Tara, okay? And that is, what do you think are the most important things you need to know to have a successful marriage?
I think you have to have trust and honesty, and you have to always remember that you're dating your husband.
Okay, great. And anything you got to add to that?
I agree with the trust, and I would say never go to bed angry. And if you ever are having any arguments, read your vows.
Okay, great answer. All right, the next question is, what does your husband, in your case, do that makes you the most happy?
When he does the dishes and the laundry. Makes me very, very happy woman.
and how about you? What makes you most happy?
When she cooks for me.
Which is not often.
All right, and then the last question. What was the hardest thing to get used to when you first got married?
Stuff everywhere.
Yeah. Probably just the living together issue. Learning to live together and, we both have a lot of stuff, so I think that was a problem.
Okay, well, thank you both for your time, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah, good luck.
Thanks, man. Thanks very much.
Yeah,
All right,
good
thanks
luck.
for doing it.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Hi, I'm with Melinda and Frank in St. Armand Circle in search for good wedding advice or good wedding information from my daughter Jessica, who's getting married in a couple of weeks. So I'm going to ask a couple of questions here, and we'll see how we go. The first question is, what do you think are the most important things you need to know to have a successful marriage?
I think probably the most important thing is to stop and think before you answer and start an argument. I don't
Frank?
know if that makes
I think it's that you absolutely believe the marriage is going to last forever, and you make that happen.
Okay, thank you. The next question I have is, what does your husband do that makes you the most happy?
Almost everything he does makes me happy. He listens to me. I guess that's probably the best. He listens to what I have to say.
Okay, Frank, how about you?
I think just what makes me happy is knowing that something I've done has made her happy. Very simple.
Yeah, that's good. Okay. And the last question, what was the hardest thing to get used to when you first got married?
Oh, that's hard.
How long my wife takes in the bathroom.
Okay.
Oh, no. I think when we were first married, we were married for 6 months and he left for 9 months in the service. And that made me learn to be on my own and take care of myself. We weren't close to family at the time.
Right.
I think
and that helped.
I think that really is a key thing. Very early on, we were away from family, and we only had each other, and we weren't able to run home to mom or dad or brother or sister, and we learned early to depend on each other.
Okay.
And that's put us in good stead the rest of our marriage.
That was all done before texting, computers, emails, and so forth. So we had to be on our own.
Okay, well,
Talk to each other.
okay.
Put away the iPads and the iPhones and talk. And that's a key.
That's a great answer. Well, thank you very much for your time and answering the questions. All right. Thank you so much. Thanks.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Thanks
Our
again.
pleasure.
Appreciate it.
You're looking forward to a wonderful occasion.
Yeah, I am.
Great.
I am.
All right, Jeff, you're looking right at the camera anytime you're ready, and action.
Hey, Jessica and Jeff. What a special day. First, congratulations on your marriage. I wanted to do something special for you on your wedding day, so I decided to head outside and ask people on the street what marriage advice they have for you. Let's hear what they have to say. Done. Okay, I'll do it again.
All right, this is take two, the same scene, and action.
Hey, Jessica and Jeff. What a special day. First, congratulations on your marriage. I want to do something special for you on your wedding day, so I decided to head outside and ask people on the street what marriage advice they have for you. Let's hear what they have to say.
This is continuing Jeff's saying to his daughter, and anytime you're ready, and action.
Well, I hope you got some good advice for your marriage out of that. Anyway, all the best to both of you for a long and happy marriage. You have a room full of people there who will always be ready to give the best advice their love has to offer.
Let's do it again from the top. Okay, ready, and action.
Well, I hope you got some good advice for your marriage out of that. Anyway, all the best to you both for a long and happy marriage. You have a room full of people there who will always be ready to give you the best advice their love has to offer. So fill your glasses, everybody, for a toast to the newlyweds. Okay.
Let's do it again, because I think you said...
Yeah, I screwed up something.
Best advice their love has to offer. Do it again, yeah. I think you might have left out maybe what word.
Yeah,
Could have been.
I'm sure I did.
Okay, and this is the third take, and action.
Well, I hope you got some good advice for your marriage out of that. Anyway, all the best to you both for a long and happy marriage. You have a room full of people there who will always be ready to give the best advice their love has to offer. So fill your glasses, everybody, for a toast to the newlyweds. Okay?
Good.